Grand Admiral Thrawn continues to stand as one of the most formidable and fearsome threats in the post-Imperial era of the galaxy, and not in terms of his physical strength, but rather his massive intellect. He is among the most intelligent tacticians that the galaxy has to offer, and has routinely used these skills to further his own agenda of complete galactic domination. This has led many to wonder, however, if the Chiss Admiral has been able to deduce one of the most closely guarded secrets that the Empire had within their ranks. Did Thrawn ever come to find out that Vader and the fabled war hero Anakin Skywalker were one and the same? And if so, what were his thoughts on this? What did Thrawn think of Vader in general, and what kind of relationship did the two of them have? Greetings again, Acolytes of the Galaxy, and welcome back to the Archives. Throughout the Thrawn trilogy, we come to learn more about his backstory and rise through the ranks to Imperial Admiral. One of the major things that we learn about is what Thrawn was up to during the Clone Wars. Whilst living in the unknown regions amongst the rest of his people, Thrawn underwent a covert mission into the known galaxy, seeking potential allies and more information regarding the rest of the galaxy's inhabitants. The Chiss were a removed people, in fact, a highly intelligent removed people. It was in his journeys to the known universe that Thrawn crossed paths with the famed Jedi General Anakin Skywalker. Their meeting comes from the novel The Thrawn Ascendancy: Chaos Rising, and although their alliance was a brief one, it soon became incredibly strong. At this point in the war, Anakin had been in the process of tracking down his secret wife and esteemed Republic Senator Padme Amidala, only to find that her starship had been found abandoned on the world of Batuu. Desperate, Anakin Skywalker made a deal with Thrawn and his immediate commander. Anakin agreed to trade intelligence regarding the war and the state of the Republic for Thrawn's services, specifically in finding his wife, whose prolonged absence made both Anakin and the Republic quite worrisome. Together, they confronted a band of smugglers who had found Padme's ship, and later, a group of assailants in the nearby town, working together to stave off the assault and figure out what happened to the Senator. Throughout the course of the expedition, Anakin told Thrawn about the Separatist movement, the scourge of the war, and everything that had happened throughout the last several years. And Thrawn used this to create a profile on the Republic itself with Anakin's help. With the intel by Skywalker, Thrawn was able to assess the Republic's potential as either an ally or a threat to the Chiss people, and was able to make an informed decision upon returning to the unknown regions. As they continued to discuss the war, they tracked Padme to the world of Makiv, a mining planet in the Cortosis mine, which was under Separatist control, and together they were able to save Padme. Upon his return to Coruscant following the battle, Skywalker spoke highly of the Chiss strategist, ultimately being the first to put him on Palpatine's radar as a brilliant tactician. And the esteem given to Thrawn by Anakin persuaded Palpatine to look further into this mysterious warrior. Likewise, Thrawn praised Anakin as a gifted combatant and warrior, as well as a battlefield commander, admiring his composure and demeanor. While the alliance never transpired as a result of the Republic's stagnant bureaucracy, Thrawn was able to smuggle artifacts back to his people. Artifacts including a Separatist shield generator which helped him to reinforce his fleet. When the Empire rose in the ashes of the Republic, Thrawn joined their ranks and helped Palpatine by commanding his own level of Imperial regime, putting his tactical skills to good use, and in the process, encountering someone calling themselves Lord Vader. Shockingly, it didn't take Thrawn long to deduce the true nature of Vader's identity, and what tipped him off the most was not actually any of the battlefield strategy or the nature in which Vader conducted his operations, but rather, it is what took place whenever Vader was questioned about Skywalker. Anytime Anakin's name, history, or rank were brought up within the Empire's discussions, Thrawn became attuned to Vader's response, and eventually was able to put two and two together. After realizing this, he quickly caught upon many similarities between Vader and Anakin, and it was now far easier for Thrawn to understand why the two operated so similarly in regards to their battlefield conduct. Thrawn was also smart enough, however, to never mention the fact that he knew aloud, as he understood the consequences which would take place if he ever voiced this clearly. However, Vader too caught on that Thrawn knew his identity, but their relationship went further. Thrawn was not only special in that he knew Vader's true history, but also because he was one of the very few Imperials who did not fear the Dark Lord. In return, Vader's commitment and loyalty to the Empire earned Thrawn's admiration, and they were able to work together on several occasions following the dawn of the Empire. Once again, the two were able to work closely with one another, with Thrawn's strategic mind formulating plans and operations for Vader with his sheer military brutality. While their alliance was largely unrefuted, there were a few blemishes on their history together, primarily centering around Thrawn's failure to apprehend the Ghost crew on several distinct times. The Ghost crew had proven themselves to be one of the most pervasive thorns in the Admiral's side, and Vader quickly grew impatient with his failures, but these shortcomings were redeemed by the rest of his accolades as an officer. When Thrawn set into motion his new TIE Defender project, Vader was one of the most vocal supporters, and his sway within the Empire allowed Thrawn's pet project to be greenlit. This led to the development of the TIE Defender Elite, a new class of defenders which surpassed the previous generation in nearly every single way. Unfortunately though, this was later sabotaged by Ezra Bridger and Sabine Wren from the Ghost crew. There was however one major disagreement between Thrawn and Vader. However, Thrawn was never stupid enough to voice this directly to the Dark Lord. Thrawn's major complaint with Vader is exactly how he treated his men. Vader had no quabbles with absolutely decimating every officer under his command if they failed him or questioned him a single time. Thrawn, on the other hand, viewed this as a waste of resources. In fact, one of the greatest attributes of Grand Admiral is his ability to put away his own ego. He believed that the Death Star was an ego-fueled project as well, which ultimately was correct. Thrawn believed that he could improve the morale of a soldier by offering forgiveness. On one occasion, even promoting a man even though he failed, because of the simple fact that he tried. A comparison between the two men could go as follows. Grand Admiral Thrawn had a grand picture, and he would do absolutely anything necessary to win the war with the rebellion. Vader, on the other hand, would do anything to win a specific battle, no matter if it cost him later in the larger war. And this was the major difference between the two of them as commanders and generals. And now, I would like to end with one of my favorite quotes from the Thrawn novels. For a long moment they stood together in silence. Vader thought about his secret, about Thrawn's loyalty, about the Emperor's continued need for him, perhaps the entire Empire's need for him. Anakin Skywalker is dead, he said. Thrawn lowered his head. I know. Vader nodded slowly. I know, so I have heard, so I was informed. But I know. We will not speak of him again, Vader said. You will not speak of him again. I understand, my lord, Thrawn said, but I will always honor his legacy. And that, my friends, is the detailed and complex relationship between Thrawn and Vader, two of the most powerful men in Imperial history. But anyway, my friends, what are your thoughts on this? And what are your thoughts on their relationship? And the sort of begrudging respect that the two men had for one another? As always, my friends, thank you for visiting our archives, and if you enjoyed, consider subscribing to our order. It is your destiny.